Boom! What up, ladies and gents? Last minute cancellation. So it's just James and I. We're going to chat it up. And if you want to join in, feel free. The link will be in the comments, but it only works if you're live. So here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. Okay. First and foremost, if you're on the live feeds, I'm going to drop a link in the chat. If you want to join in, be part of the conversation, welcome aboard. So this is one of those things that happens when we podcast.
Come on down.
We get a no-show or a last-minute cancellation for whatever reason. People's lives, that stuff happens. What's up, Paul? And when that happens, James and I got to kind of keep going, man. We got to still do this thing. So
Why?
Because
you're crazy.
Gotta. When you said the why, there's so many whys you could have gone with, dude.
I know. I mean, I definitely was thinking because I gotta, but it's just because you're crazy. Because you said when we started this thing, we're gonna do this every day, and you know what,
dude? Every
we
day.
freaking do this every day. And if somebody doesn't show up, the show must go on. We're committed. We're doing this every day, so here we are. It doesn't matter.
So,
but it does give that opportunity for anybody, Paul, who's watching. Right?
Who wants to
said,
jump?
What's up? I mean, if anybody wants to jump on, like,
if you're not comfortable, maybe you're not in a position to jump on, that's cool. Drop us a question. We'd love to answer stuff or ask an opinion question. I mean, those are also cool as well. So drop something in the chat if that's something that you're down with, and let us know. Just join the conversation.
It can be business related. It can be Marvel related. It can be what else you want to nerd out on.
Pretty much anything. We're pretty open books.
Yep.
I'll tell you what I was doing today, though. So,
oh man,
I mean, I spent almost the whole day at the Nissan dealership today, sitting there waiting for my car. I knew it was going to be a while. I knew it was going to happen. I had to get some work done on the car, and it's been a minute since I've done some stuff. COVID, right? And there you go. Paul's going to hop on. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and I'm going through TikToks, but differently this time. There's a bunch of stuff that I've saved on TikTok that I favorited, and I'm going through my favorites, and I'm like, ooh, and then I would write that down in my notepad, and then I'd go do it, right? And so that was a little bit different. So things like how to build an audience, check out this website, and then there's a lot of cool stuff that I see on TikTok, and I know this happens to a lot of different people as well. Whether you're listening to a podcast or you're watching a YouTube short or a YouTube video, there's always stuff that we learn that we're like, ooh, that was cool, and then keep scrolling, right? Continue to move on to the next thing. Give it a heart or whatever it is. But today I was like, you know what? I have this time right now. I'm going to figure out how to get this thing, how to learn how to do some of this stuff. What's up, Paul?
What's up, guys?
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend.
Did you trim the beard?
Trimmed it back a little.
Uh-oh, can you hear us? Can you hear me, Paul?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. I'm wondering if I'm getting an echo.
I think you're good. I was asking, did you trim the beard?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Well, kind of.
Are we lagging? Is that what's happening?
It might be just a little bit of a lag, but it's cool. It'll sync up here in a second. So, tell me when you catch up to me, Paul, when my lips and my sound kind of sync up, and then we'll jump into our conversation. So anyways, I was talking about how I was sitting at the dealership and I was going through TikToks, and I was taking all the stuff that I learned, and I started to implement today. So whatever it was, if it was check out this new Photoshop trick, right? And so how to remove a background in Photoshop. And so what did I do? Instead of just saying, ooh, that was cool, and keep going, I opened up Photoshop, I grabbed a picture, I followed the process. I was like, okay, did it, right? And I just kind of started doing that down the list, just because there's so much information out there. There's so many things that we can learn and very little time to implement. What do you think, Paul? Can you hear us now?
It's still doing it.
At least I can hear you now. At least it's syncing up. You know what? Try to exit, come back in. Maybe that'll work.
Okay.
And then
Oh,
he heard
that
that.
seemed to work.
That seemed to work, right? That's the way it always
Gotta
works.
love it.
That's perfect timing.
I was gonna ask him too, like what other what resources does he use? Does he use TikTok for educational purposes? I don't use TikTok at all. Like TikTok is just not.
You watch the TikToks I send you.
Yeah, just
And that's
because you
about it.
send them to me.
And that's
Yeah,
about
but
it.
oh man, I get annoyed at the noise. I sit there and like scroll video, and then like I get something that's like really loud in my ears, and I'm like, eh. Is he here? Does it work?
I think that's better.
That's better. Perfect. It was just the connection thing. Sweet. All right, so back to my original question. You trimmed the beard, dude.
I trimmed the beard. Yeah, brought it down a little bit. It was a little bit out of control.
But it's your
Looking
thing,
good,
man. It's your thing.
It's still there.
It's still there. It's still there, but it was like well defined. Like I was talking to who is it? Andrew Morgans over at Marknology the other day when he was on the show, and he was talking. I asked him about his beard because he has an epic beard, and he was saying that like one of the reasons why he has the epic beard is because it's honestly it's kind of manly. Like there's not a lot of people who can grow a good beard, and like that's one of the things he can do. And like he gets compliments from other dudes saying, "Hey man, that's a nice beard. Like that's pretty cool." You get similar experiences?
Yeah, I do. And actually, it was getting so bad. I was like, every time I walk by a mirror, I'm like, am I homeless? Because I'm kind of feeling a little bit low-key homeless right now.
Were you finding
So I
like
just, this
leftovers?
weekend I did a little like TLC, a little self-care, because that's important. Just decided to get after it and try something a little bit different,
Yeah, no, it
Everything's
looks good.
up.
You got all the
I mean, the
leftovers out.
good thing about my beard, like it'll grow back. Like if I don't like it, I'll just wait a week. It'll be back.
That's true. I got to put a hat on because nothing will grow for me. It's done. Damn. Hey, Paul, I had some questions for you, dude. What you do in the insurance space and working with different people is kind of different. You're not actively selling per se. You're actively building relationships. And for the audience, can you kind of tell them like what you do?
Yeah. So like, I want to meet everybody. I want to be friends with everybody. I want to do business with everybody. And if I can't do business with you directly, I want to be a resource for you. Right. So it is like, I guess when those opportunities present itself, it does like translate down the line into a sale. Right. But you're right. It's about business development. It's about relationship building. And that's like what I love. I love, getting out, meeting people. You guys know a little bit about my background. Coming into the insurance world, just like 2 years ago, the past year has been, all COVID, but it was important to me, like, okay, well, I'm new to this space. I came out of a completely different industry. So like, how can I quickly integrate myself as fast as I can and meet as many people as I can? So it's just, live on social media, like, follow, as many people as you can, plug yourself into as many groups, organizations, whatever as you can, and just meet people and show up. We talk about that a lot in sales. It's like, 95% of it is showing up. And dude, that is the truth. In the, 2 years I've been in this space, like I've met like a ton of amazing people and built some awesome relationships. And I'm just like, each day kind of confirms more and more. I know it was the right move to come here and be doing this, but like to have the opportunity to kind of like fast forward, as far as, having to meet and develop relationships with people, it was like almost perfect timing in a way. And that's what it's about, is like authentic relationships, doing the right thing, just being out there and being a resource, for folks as much as you can. I mean, I get questions all the time, hey, I know I didn't choose to use your insurance, Paul, but we just actually were renting back to the people that bought our house, and the insurance company sold us the wrong policy. What do we do? It's like, I got you. Don't even worry about it. Here's what we're going to do. Here's your options. I'll lay it all out for you. You do what you will with it. But it's about like helping the community, man. It's just, I'm a big proponent to do the right thing, show up, be there, be available, 7 days a week, always be on, answer your phone, do what you need to. But, we are here to help a community, grow and do whatever that we can do to lift each other up.
So try to make the world a better place.
Yes, that's exactly what it's about, dude. And we operate pretty much the same way. I mean, that's what part of, doing the Business Bros, even when we get a last minute cancellation type thing, is all about. Most of it is showing up, like being here, being present, and being not being invisible, right? Because invisible is a bad thing when you're in sales. What about your follow-up? Like, what does follow-up look like for you? Let's say you're on a Zoom, because that's what happened in 2020. You're on a Zoom, right. You meet some, a couple realtors, or you meet a couple, loan people, whatever it is. What does the follow-up look like? Like, when you call, what do you say?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it really depends on what was our interaction. Why did we kind of make that connection in the first place? It's like, it might be, hey, Paul, I have somebody who's, buying a house out in Valley Center, and we don't really know what, the insurance cost is going to be. Or, hey, Paul, I have a client who's thinking about buying this house. Are there any losses? What's the clue report look like? Are those things of value that we're able to provide? And what I'll do a lot of times is, I'll get an email that comes through, we'll dialogue over email, jump on a phone call as quick as possible. And I'll tuck them away into a file to, add them to my CRM and, make sure that I'm keeping tabs on them, keeping following up. I try to do follow-ups, dedicate, blocks of time, at least 2 days a week to follow up with, pending clients, people in the pipeline, professional relationships. And also just be on Facebook. Right. Everybody's on Facebook, on social media. You have to be engaged. Being engaged is the same to me as following up. You don't have to, type out long novels on stuff, but man, be there, support them. If somebody's asking a question about something, even in the real estate space, I don't work directly in that space as far as being a realtor. But if somebody's like, hey, I have an upcoming, house, in this part of town, it's like, hey, I was just on Metro on Friday. Somebody was looking in that area. Hey, you need to call this person. You guys can connect, see if you can help each other out. But that goes back to, doing the right thing, showing up, being engaged, and just really having your finger on the pulse of what our community's doing, what the market's doing, what everybody's own kind of lane is, and understanding that, and staying in your lane, but also helping people make the connections that they need. It's about, once again, being a resource, doing the right thing, connecting people.
So when you talk about being a resource, because I mean, I know it's a lot of what you do is in the insurance space, but when you're being a resource, it's not necessarily tied into just insurance. So you're actually opening the door to a lot more stuff, like you were talking about earlier, business development and helping people do that. So what is that like? My biggest thing right now is the conversation, right? Because I know that I have a database of people that I should be calling more often. And this is the problem that happens. Yeah. This is the problem that happens with most salespeople is maybe you have that block time set up and you're getting ready to go and you have your list that you're ready to call this week. And then you can't get yourself to make that first dial. And what's the thing that's stopping you? The one thing that people always say, myself included, is, I don't know what I'm going to talk about with this person. And that one little hesitation, because it could be something as simple as like, dude, what's been going on? I haven't talked to you for a while. Like, once you start making a couple dials, like, it gets a lot easier. But getting over that first hurdle, like, what kind of tips and tricks do you have to kind of just make it happen?
Right. That's a great question, man. I kind of go back to what Gary Vee says, and what he says about content and stuff like that. It's like, just don't give an F, just do it, and that's like Nike built a whole brand on just do it, right? We think about it, then it's like we start like, oh well, what about this, and it has to be perfect, and doubt starts creeping in, and then it's like there's 1,000 reasons like not to do the task that you were supposed to be doing, instead of just just pick it up, just roll with it, just free form it, just do it. And to your point, the more calls you make, the easier it's going to get. And it's just, you have to make it a priority. I hear a lot of people say, and myself included, guilty of this. It's like, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. Whenever I hear somebody say, I don't have time, I hear it's not a priority.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And that's a fact. Like, because if it's a priority to you, you have time to do it. Anybody has time to do it, right? Period. Whether that's making follow-up calls, if that's, cleaning your room, doing laundry, going to the grocery store, following up with clients, whatever it is, like, you have to make it a priority. And if you don't make it a priority, it's easy to pass it off as, oh, I was too busy and I don't have time. And, I'm trying to kind of reform and reshape my perspective on that too. If I, tell myself, oh, I don't have time for this, it's like, no, Paul, you're just not making it a priority, dude. Like, just, suck it up and do it. Just do it. It sounds so cliche, but also the more I think about it, the more I hear about it, it's like, damn, these guys were way ahead of their time. They got it.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
That's right.
Dude, that just do it. Like that, one of my favorite brands is Nike because of that. I mean, granted, sports kind of helps out, right? But just do it and not giving a fuck, like just getting done and doing an activity. I think that is probably the most difficult hurdle that most people need to overcome. I don't like to wake up and like go do my workout. I hate that stuff. But once I start, like then it's easier. It's like the momentum trying to push that rock to move an inch is difficult. But once you get it rolling down the hill, it gets easier and easier.
It's like with this podcast.
Oh my gosh, dude. Getting the thing going at first was tough. Now, we have a last minute cancellation and at least we can get a Paul on the show. Like that's all, that's all crazy.
Being present. Like I follow you guys. Like I know when you come online, I try to pop in, as time permits. And it's, you got to be in the right place at the right time. What do they say? Luck favors the prepared, right? I mean,
nailed
period. It. Here we are. What's up, gents? Nice.
Before you, oh, go ahead, Ham.
I was going to say it's funny, when we talk about taking that action and just doing it. I was journaling today or yesterday, and it's a lot of the same things. One of the things that I have this like fear of, I've never done, what a lot of people have done and made 100 calls in a day, right? Like I've never done anything like that. That scares the crap out of me. But one of the things that I was writing about today is like this future vision of myself is someone who nurtures these referral relationships, someone who makes sure to reach out. And, as I'm writing it, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, just thinking about it gives me anxiety. But then I write down, you know what? That's exactly how I felt when we started this podcast. When we started this podcast, I had to drink to be able to be on the show. Like the first 5, 6, 10 episodes.
That's where Business Bros came from.
That's where Business Bros came from, because I was a few beers in when I did that. But now, not only are we doing this show, I have my own show that I started too. And so with that action starts to come the comfort, and eventually, it becomes almost second nature.
Whoa. Can you say that again? With this action?
What? No, I know. I hate to agree with you sometimes. Sometimes. The mindset will follow.
The mindset does follow, dude. Like the action makes all the difference in the world in almost everything you do. I don't know about you, Paul, but like this is the lifelong conversation James and I always have. He's like, I got to get my mind right, put myself in the right mindset, and then I can take the action. And I'm like, my mind is never right. Like I'm all screwed up when it comes to my mind, right? But when I take the action, the habits and the routines, those actions are what get me into that momentum. I'm only far ahead in podcasting or branding because I made it a routine and it's part of my habit, and I'm consistently trying to improve, just get a little bit better every single day. But it comes from the action. The mindset gets better. My energy got better. The way I speak got better. All these different things. I want to do it more often. The mindset followed the action. What do you think?
No, I think that absolutely is true. I mean, they talk about start little tasks. Like every day, I get out of bed, first thing I do, I make my bed, and that's okay. That's the first win, right? And then you have to build like momentum. It's like we have this like, I don't know about you, I can't speak for everybody, but like for me, like I have like a vision or a thought, and it's like this grandiose idea and it's amazing. And then it's like, yes, this is awesome and exciting, right? And then it's almost like the 5 stages of grieving. It's like excitement, but then it's like, oh my God, now I'm overwhelmed. Like, oh God, where do I start? And then doubt starts creeping. It's like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. But it's like, whoa, step back. You do it just like you do everything else, one foot, after the next. You got to start somewhere, because it's like, what is that? Paralysis from analysis, or analysis paralysis. And I worked in operations and supply chain management and everything for so long, and such a, like operational thinking brain and everything. And just, at some point realized, man, I need to just accept, like, this is good enough. Like, let's just get it out. Let's just do it. Because if we're sitting here thinking about it and doing and retooling, it's like, that's cool. Everybody loves talking about stuff, but like, where's the action? And even if it's the smallest little action, like, okay, we made some progress today, dude, it's progress. It's more progress than some people made today. And that should be a win. And you have to measure against yourself and not against like where other people are at. It's you and your goals and what you're trying to accomplish, and what that looks like for you is going to be starkly different than just about anybody else. And that's,
now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth.
yeah. See, Uncle Stallone, he knows what's up. What can I say, huh? Dude, I always say, dude, if I had a T instead of a C in my name, I'd be retired by now. But no, I had to have a C instead of a T. Damn it!
That was just a typo on the birth certificate. That's what
I know,
happened,
right? Come on, that was the best. I missed it, brother.
Oh, dude, we were talking a little bit about social media earlier, and I was telling James that today when I was spending hours chilling at the dealership going through stuff, I was going through TikTok and I was implementing the stuff that I found that I liked, right? So when I go through TikTok, my feed is a lot of like social media, digital marketing, a lot of like Photoshop, and because that's the stuff that interests me, that's the stuff that I'm working on. But a lot of the times when I scroll through social media, like, well, TikTok anyways, if I like it, I give it a little heart because it goes in that group and I can go back and look through it later, but I never go back and look through it later. Same thing happens when you input people into your CRM, right? You're like, you put their information into the CRM like a good salesperson, right? And then you enter your notes like a good salesperson. And then they just kind of fall off the face of the earth.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Exactly. So, developing these small habits and these little things that'll help us get to that next step are the things that separate the goods from the greats. You talked about competing with yourself. That's what Michael Jordan's, that's what the Kobe Bryant's, that's what the Tiger Woods of the world, they do that. But what often gets lost is, those are the greats. Good is still good. Like, if you're good at what you're doing, you're still a success. There are plenty of people in the NBA or in the NFL or MLB or whatever sport you want to talk about that are good athletes, and they make a good living, and they're they love what they do. You don't have to be a great to be happy in life. Good works as well, and that's those little habits of what we're doing. I mean, you tell me, Paul. Like, I know I want to be a great, but at the same time, I'm also honest with myself, and I don't do the work necessary that the greats do.
Right.
What do you think?
That's perfect point. I mean, and honestly, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, good. If you're good, you're still better than probably like 90% of the people out there.
Oh, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
Easy. Probably higher. That's conservative. And I think, it boils down to, once again, you and what do you want out of life, out of your business, out of your time. Maybe your ideal, situation is to work, 30 hours a week and have the rest of the time to do whatever you want, live comfortably. And that's awesome. That's great. And if that works for you and you're happy with that, dude, get it, because that's your life. Ain't nobody else can tell you how to do it. And if you're happy and that is like, good is your like pinnacle of success, like, all the more power to you, period. And that's just the thing, is that's what is so beautiful about life, is like, there's no right or wrong way. Everybody, you have to remember, we're all just children who've grown tall out here trying to figure it out the best way that we can, period.
No, dude, and that's true. And what we define as good, right? What we value is different from the next person. Like
Absolutely.
I might have a monetary goal that I need to reach to make myself feel like I've achieved a level of success. But my wife, for example, she's as successful as I've ever met. Why? Because she wanted to be a school teacher. She wanted to have a house with a view. She wanted to have kids by the age that she had kids by. Like, that's her idea of success. That's what makes her happy. And that's what makes her in that space great. Right? The greats are going to come in different ways, in different forms, in different aspects of life. And it really comes down to your point at the very beginning is that's why we want to meet people. Because how else am I going to understand James's lifestyle or Paul's lifestyle or anybody else's? And how else am I going to learn that maybe I like a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of over here to make what makes me happier? Like, how are you going to experience these things if you don't communicate with people and goes beyond the sales part? Like the relationships you've built, how much have you learned or how many experiences have you had or, what have you done with those relationships that has altered your life?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, right, we get it's interesting, and I can't speak for other people or countries for that matter, but I know here in America, like, we tie so much of our persona and vision and self-worth like to our job, right? It's just like it's ingrained in the society, right, wrong, indifferent. It is what it is. But it's like there's so much more. And when we look at things, I know I look at things through the lens of my career and what I'm doing, right? And I really enjoy the aspect of being able to meet as many people as I can, because your life, anybody's life is a sum of your experiences, right? It's not about the stuff. It's about your experiences. And I always I always joke around, I was a nerd growing up, playing Dungeons and Dragons, stuff like that. But I always kind of parlay it to, it's like experience points. The more experience points you get in something, the better you're going to be at it. I started as like, a level 1 dwarf, and now I'm like, a level 80 mage, right? Whatever way you want to look at it, it is about experience, and it is about life's experiences. And the way that we get those experiences is by interacting with other human beings and pulling from, their experience pool and learning something new from them. And yeah, my job is to, get out there and develop business. But really what my job is and what I absolutely love, I literally get paid to go like meet and build relationships with people. Like, how cool is that? Like, how freaking cool is that? Wait, you're going to pay me to go out and like talk to people and like really like connect and make authentic relationships with folks? I'm in all day. Let's do this. Right? Because that's what it is. And yeah, there's a work aspect to it, but at the end of the day, it's no different. Like, being in business development is like, going on 10 Tinder dates a day, right? With, lenders, real estate agents, insurance agents, like you name it. But like, dude, it's the same thing. You're out, you want to understand what makes that person tick. If you guys, jive together, if you're going to be able to do work together, do your personalities get along? If they do, great. If not, oh well, there's plenty of fish in the sea, baby. And that's what it is. But also at the end of the day, I'm going to like take something away from every one of those interactions that I might be able to tuck into my tool belt and use down the road or use later that day. Who knows?
It's like the Matrix, man. I'm telling you, like every interaction is a lesson learned. Every interaction, dude, even if the relationship sucks, like you might meet, and that happens. We meet people and it's like, well, that was weird. All right, cool. Well, chalk it up as right.
Some of the biggest lessons you learn are from failures, right? It's always easy to, like, oh, this is great. This makes me feel good, but also if you look back at like some of the biggest lessons you've learned in life and the biggest experience you've gained has probably been from the hard times, the not so happy stuff, right? The
what you consider failure experience.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. The stuff that makes you dig deep and like really like think about it, right? So
yeah, and you all, I don't know, in my experience, anytime I've been backed into a corner, it tends to be where I have the greatest resolve and the greatest action that takes me in a direction, right? So, sometimes it's those relationships, they back you into a corner. Sometimes it's time that backs you into a corner. Sometimes it's your checkbook that backs you into a corner. But that pressure to, meet people, or that pressure to, pay a particular bill, that's a driving factor for me anyways. And I don't know, after doing this for a while, I'm with you, Paul, like meeting somebody new every day, plugging into that matrix and experiencing something with people. That's been one hell of a ride.
Right.
And the fact that they pay you to do that, that's even better, bro. And I'll give you this. I use the same perspective as far as teaching high school is concerned. So I teach part-time, so that way I'm done around 11:30 noon, right? So that's cool. I get to go do the other stuff. And then I teach that financial algebra class, and people often ask, like, why do you teach? I'm like, do you realize that the school is paying me with benefits, right? Paying me to talk about the stuff that I do all day long. Like, this is what I do anyways. I get to talk about it. I get to build rapport with these students, right? They're going to know, like, and trust me because I'm sharing knowledge and information with them every single day. And then they're going to graduate, grow up. And, I started teaching that class, 5 or 6 years ago. I'm getting calls today from the kids that are, hey, I'm about to buy a house. Hey, I just bought a car. Hey, right? And
right. I was
my
going to say, you want to talk about
my
playing the long game,
brother,
baby.
my parents, and I got paid to do that. I got paid to market to people on a regular basis. That's how I mean, and for me, perspective is everything. And so how you look at the situation that you're in matters. What you tell yourself every day matters. The habits that you put in your life, they all matter.
Yeah, exactly. They absolutely do. And that's why it's so important on, they talk about who you surround yourself with is so important as well, because, that influence, like it or not, creeps into your persona and your perspective on yourself and those around you. And it's just super important. And like you said, the school's essentially paying you to, market to these kids. And it's like, yeah, you're marketing, but like really what you're doing is the right thing. You're helping the, society by educating these kids, and by doing the right thing, there's all these, crossover benefits that's not the reason that we started doing it. But heck, when you do the right thing, luck favors the prepared. Here we go. Case in point.
Perfect. Hey, Paul, man, I wanted to say thank you, dude, for hopping on. You saved the day, dude. You're the hero for the day, right? Otherwise, you would have just had James. Boom, right? So thanks for coming on. I'm sorry we didn't have a fire intro for you, but
whatever, dude. I'm gonna notate this, and next time I'm really gonna consider it before I decide to jump on. I mean, I feel so underserved now. I'm questioning all of my life's decisions at this moment.
We're gonna have to make James do a fire intro, record it, and send it to you. Be like, Paul, use this as your alarm, man.
Awesome. Hey, you guys are awesome. Thanks for letting me pop on today. It just kind of worked out perfectly. I think you guys are doing a great thing. Like I said, I like and follow you guys all over social media. James, your new podcast is awesome too, man. I've been checking that out as I can. And I just want to say, keep up the good work, and you guys keep doing you, and it's going to pay off. Clearly it already has. And once again, I appreciate the platform, and thanks for letting me in today, guys.
Awesome. Thanks,
and don't
Paul.
forget to follow Paul on Instagram at Paul Scalone.
Oh yeah, where's the shameless self-promotion? Yeah,
what happened to go.
Scalone.
Better call Paul.
All your insurance needs, baby. I'm the one-stop shop.
Boom, boom,
and
boom.
Also, need a place to eat in San Diego. Paul knows all the best places.
I do.
Yeah,
I know things.
I
drink
food.
And I know things.
Yes. I drink and I know things. All right, ladies and gents. Paul, thanks again for coming on the show. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Peace out, y'all.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation, or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.